Most people are so scared of debts because they think debts are actually bad. But the real problem is actually the bad debts that people accrue and the financial responsibility that comes, or the financial burden that comes with paying off bad debts. And used correctly, actually debts can be able to help you grow financially, invest, and also be able to achieve things or financial goals that you have always wanted to. So in this video, I'm going to share a 5-step guide on how you can actually be able to get good debts. And at the end of this video, you're going to learn about how to know that you're eligible for debt, how much you should be able to borrow, where you should be able to borrow, the interest that you're supposed to be paying when it comes to debt, and actually the period of time that you're supposed to look at, or the period you're supposed to be paying a debt. Hi guys, welcome again to another episode of Financial Literacy. My name is Jane Dishu and I'm a financial advisor. So the first thing, how do I know that really I'm eligible for a good debt? So the real question should not be, can I get a loan? It should be, should I get a loan? So you should be asking yourself, am I eligible, or should I actually get this loan? It's not, is it accessible, or can I be able to get it? And how to know if you're eligible for a loan? The first thing is if you have a predictable income or a stable source of income. Remember, when you're getting a loan or when you're getting into debt, one of the things that you need to be very careful about is you might need to pay this loan for a certain period of time. So if you don't have a stable source of income, you're not actually eligible for this particular loan. The second thing is in case your income is below your expenses. So you don't also want to get a loan when your income is actually less than your expenses, or you're living below your means. So you need to have some room just to have an amount of money that you can be able to afford to go to paying off that loan. The other thing is when you have a budget in place. I know most people will just skip this part because you're like, okay, I know I can be able to afford this loan, so I'm gonna pay it off. But in real sense, if you have not mastered the art of budgeting, if you have not been able to see how much goes into your expenses, how much goes to your savings and investment, and how much definitely can you be able to slot in into paying off these debts, you are not actually eligible to get a loan. And the last thing is, how are you going to be using this loan? So if you're borrowing for purposes of investing, if you're borrowing for purposes of growing a skill, if you're borrowing for purposes of actually increasing on your income, then you are eligible to get a loan, because at the end of the day, this money that you're going to get, it's actually going to make you more money, and at the end of the day, you're not going to struggle to actually pay off this debt. Let me tell you, one of the red flags, in case you're going to be borrowing money to pay off for your emergencies, or to pay off for your expenses, or maybe just to do a lifestyle change, don't do it, because at this particular point you're just getting into things that you cannot be able to afford, and this is what's going to get you into bad debt. So good debts is anything that is bringing any financial development into your life, and bad debts are any debts that you accumulate either for lifestyle, or for expenses, or for emergencies. The second question we should be answering is, where should I be borrowing? So the where is very important, because if you're not careful on deciding on where you should be getting your loan, most of the time you might find yourself in a place where maybe you have gotten in a trap where the interest is so high, or maybe the terms are not quite flexible or not friendly, and at some particular point you don't want to get to a place where you actually having problems with the places where you have borrowed, or the companies that you're working with. So some of the places that I would recommend you to get a loan in, the first place and the best available option is in SACCOs. So for those who might not know, SACCOs is Savings and Credit Cooperative Societies. So this is where a group of people just come together, and then they put in their money, and then now the SACCO regulates that, and then they decide to be giving money credit, or they decide to be giving the members some credit or some loans. At this particular point, it's so easy to grow your credit in a SACCO, because you need just to save a certain amount of money, and then they're going either to multiply by 3, multiply by 5, or multiply by which number they're going to do. So it's quite easy for you to do that. But I know the basic requirement of a SACCO is actually having guarantors, which most of the people might feel, I don't have guarantors. And maybe at some particular point you might feel like this is not the place to be. But if you don't have guarantors, you can go for the second option, and the second option is the banks. So if you're getting a loan in a bank, one of the key things that I want you to check is the interest rate in that bank, to the terms of that loan or that bank loan, because most of the time you're going to find maybe they are having fluctuating interest rates, and at some point, if it's not regulated, it can go over and beyond. Maybe you started paying off maybe a car loan at maybe 10%. By the time you're done, you're paying around 23%, which is way above, and you might find yourself struggling financially to actually keep up with the pace of now trying to just cover for it. So you need to make sure that you're so keen on that bit. Also, what you also need to do, in case you're getting a loan in a bank, I would really give an option of unsecured loan. I know the bank is going to fight me at this particular point, because I know unsecured loans are quite expensive, but at least there's nothing attached into it, and you're not risk in losing your properties or your assets. So at some particular point, I would lean on this other side, because I get the freedom of just deciding on the flexibility and negotiating on my terms without risking my properties and my assets into repossession. The other place is your employer. If you're in a place where your employer can be able to get you credit or can be able to give you loan, well and good, because at this particular point you get like direct deduction, negotiated interest rates, and at some particular point they also like have good friendly payment terms, because you're employed to be there for some time. So if you have a good contract with your employer, this is also a place you can also be able to get at the end of the day. And the last place, which is the most of the time non-interest or non-interest debts that you can accrue, your social capital. So this is your family and your friends. But if you get to this point of borrowing from your family and your friends or people around you, you need to also exercise a lot of discipline, a lot of respect, and also be trustworthy. Make sure at the end of the day, if you pay, you said you're going to be paying this loan at this particular point, make sure that you also do that, because I know most people get into a point where you actually destroy all your social capital or your net worth, because at the end of the day, or your networks, sorry, because you don't actually maybe honor into what you agreed. So at the end of the day, even if there is no interest charged, make sure that you are actually honoring to the words or the agreement that you've done with your family or your social capital. Lastly, definitely there are those places I would recommend, and definitely there are those places I wouldn't recommend. Guys, do not get yourself borrowing in a Shylock. No matter how much you want that money, do not, because those people, they escalate their interest rate, because there is no security into it. There's less they can do when it comes to recovery and security. So they make sure that the interest rate is way above. And most of the time, you're going to find that there's so many hidden charges that you don't see. And also, like, you end up paying more money, and these loans don't get, you never clear them because the interest rate is way above. So do not get into that cycle of Shylock. And let me tell you, we have the modern Shylock, the mobile applications. If you can, please don't. Remember, any place that they cannot be able to track your data, any companies that are coming up, they are going to make sure that they are getting their money fast before they even led to you. So most of the time, if you get into the circle or the cycle of maybe this Shylock and mobile loans, most of the time you might find yourself actually struggling to get off or pay them off. At the end of the day, the highlight is to make sure that you also look at the true cost of all the loans that you're going to get. This is maybe the transaction, the management, the transfer, extra charges, interest rate. Make sure that you get all that cost, because at the end of the day, that is going to give you a differential on which company that you're going to work with or which place you're going to get your loan from. The third question that you should always ask yourself or answer before you get a loan is, how much should I borrow? Let me tell you, at this particular point, most people will be so excited by their loan limits. So at this point, if you find yourself that they are giving you like 500,000 and you only need 200,000, can you just exercise the discipline of not borrowing the 300,000 that you don't need? So make sure that you're not excited by your limit or your loan limit, and then now you want to borrow and exhaust everything. Always borrow what you actually need, and also always borrow what you can be able to pay. And there's a rule of thumb that I actually use as a financial advisor. Remember, when you're borrowing, most of the time, you need like to slot in your savings and investment at the same category. So if you're using the 50-30-20 budgeting rule, most of the time 20% is allocated for your savings and investment, and definitely paying off your debts. So if you exhaust on more than 20% of your income, remember, you might not be able to save save anything. You might not be able to meet on your expenses. So I always say, do not borrow more than 20% of your income. So if your income is around 100,000, you can only afford to borrow or pay a loan that you're paying around 20,000 Kenya shillings. Don't get that mixed up. If you borrow more than that, some people say 35%. I know some people might say 35%, 40%, or whatever it is. Of course, it purely depends with your budget, but I don't recommend you paying off a loan that is more than 20%. What is your current income? Because you're going to get yourself into a very bad financial situation. And if you can be able to stretch and reduce maybe on your wants, yes, you can slot into a maximum of maybe 25, 30 there. Do not go beyond that, because it's going to be so hard for you to live within your means, to make sure that you're investing actively, because you having debts or paying off your debts doesn't mean that you have to slow down the process of actually investing and saving, because time never waits on anyone. So just make sure that even if an opportunity presents itself, you actually borrow what you can afford, you actually borrow what you need, and you also don't get into a trap where now you have bad debts because you borrowed more, and now you had to actually use this money for other reasons like lifestyle inflation, like maybe credit, other expenses that you might spend on. So always make sure that you check on that budget, you actually plan accordingly, and you know that you actually debt affordable ratio. The fourth thing, or the fourth question you should ask yourself, is how much interest you should be paying on loans. I know this is a very tricky question. Most of the time when people are getting into debt, or are getting a debt, or getting a loan, they never consider how much interest they are going to pay, because most of the time you get a lot of excitement when it comes to getting this loan, so you don't even remember that one day I'm gonna pay off this debt, and if that one day I'm gonna pay off this debt, I'm going to pay this debt with an interest on top. So most of the time you find that we don't even do the numbers or the calculation of the interest that we might need, and we end up paying a lot of money on interest. So these are some of the samples that you can actually use. If you get a loan that you're paying anything less than 13%, that is a very good loan, because at the end of the day, you can be able to leverage and you can be able to actually get something on it, and it's not like a lot of money because it's around 1% interest rate. And if you get this actually in reducing balance, let me tell you, that one you have won a jackpot, because it means you're going to be paying less and less money at the end of the day. If you get a debt that is between 13% and to around 18%, that is something you can consider, but that is something that you need to do your calculation very well, because that is not like a very simple interest rate. This is like almost 1.5% per month, so it's not like a small amount of money. So you need to make sure that you do your calculation very well. Most of the time you might find maybe unsecured loans are giving you within 13 to 18%, but any debt that you have to pay more than 20% per year, you actually don't need to get that one. That one is going to be an automatic bad debt, because it will strain you. That's a lot of money. Most of the time you're going to find that in mobile loans, and some of them you're going to find even to the extremes of 40%, 90%. That is just draining yourself. Don't get to a place where you have to do that. Another thing that you ought to consider when it comes to interest is looking at the investment that you're going to put your money into. Remember, if your investment is not going to give you more than the interest rate of the loan, just don't take that loan. It's not making financial sense. It's actually not going to give you the return on investment, and you don't need to actually take it. So what you need to consider, if maybe a loan is around, maybe costing you around 13%, any investment or anything that you're going to be doing with that money, remember we said when you're borrowing, it should be growing yourself financially. So it means that any amount of money that you're going to be borrowing, you're putting it into an investment. So if you're borrowing at around 13%, any investment you put in place should actually be able to give you more than 13%. That is non-negotiable, because at the end of the day, you don't want to get to a point where you are maybe getting a loan and then the investment is below average, because it's not going to make the financial sense. It's better you just save and wait and do your investment in peace. Lastly, if you get a loan that you have to pay daily or weekly, the interest rate, please don't get that one. That is now below. That one is going to just give you headache. That's like a basic Shylock. Don't get into that one at any cost. But also, even if you're going to be considering an interest rate that is lower, always check for extra charges, like maybe the insurance charges, levies, anything, taxes or something close to that, facilitation fees. Make sure that you also get all the details, because I know there are some loans which you are going to pay maybe 12%, but they have other charges. So at the end of the day, when the statement comes in place, you find that it's not 12%, it's actually 16%. So you also need to do your due diligence and make sure the interest that is stated in your contract is actually the amount of money that you're actually going to be paying. And also consider that if the interest rate is actually a certain amount of money, always ask the term of engagement, because you also don't want to get yourself in a place where the interest rate is fluctuating and now the money changes over time. So you need to also know the structure. Is it a simple interest, or is it a reducing balance? What is it? Like, just understand the basics so that it's so easy for you to plan financially, and you're also able to execute financially for proper planning. The last bit is actually to know how long you should be paying your loans. I know this is a question that most people don't ask themselves also, because most of the time it feels the longer the period of time, the easier it becomes, because you're able now to pay a certain amount of money or a lower amount of money. So this most of the time gets people into trap of maybe using short-term goals or short-term goals loans to pay for a long period of time. So what I mean, if maybe the reason why you borrowed that loan was for a short-term investment, you should actually make sure that you're paying off that loan within that stipulated time period. So let's say, for example, you were borrowing maybe for a short-term maybe course or something close to that. You should not be paying that for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years and the course was like 6 months. It should be within that particular period of time. So always make sure that the time period matches the goal or the reason why you borrowed. Another thing you ought to know, that the longer the period of time you take to pay off the loans, the higher the amount of money you pay as interest. So it's very important to make sure that if you take a loan, you use the shortest affordable time that you can get, to make sure that you also don't get yourself into a point where you borrowed 10 million and you paid off almost 5 million worth of maybe interest rate, which is almost 50%. And to some people, they even pay more than that. So you don't want to get to a point where you actually paid almost half the amount of money, meaning even if you were to talk about the inflation, even if you were to talk about if I was to wait, this thing would have appreciated, this asset would have appreciated. If it has appreciated with 50%, but most of the time, it's better you would have saved. So those are the calculations that you do at the end of the day, because we always say if you cannot be able to afford a loan for less than maybe 5 years, I know this can be controversial because we have goals that can take you for 15, 10 years, like house ownership and the rest of the things, but something around 5 years and below makes a lot of financial sense. If you have to pay a loan for more than 5 years, most of the time you're going to pay a lot of money, and the financial sense is not actually in the picture at the end of the day. So make sure that the interest rate that you're paying is actually making the financial sense. Also, the goals that you're going to choose or the reasons why you're borrowing matches the period of time. The goal is pay off your loan as fast as possible, or as much as you can be able to reduce on them, so that you also reduce on the interest that you pay at the end of the period. Finally, debt should be used as a tool, not a trap. And also, you should borrow to grow yourself. And finally, you should also borrow money that you can be able to afford, not money that you feel you emotionally need. So it's money that you can be able to afford. So make sure that whenever you want to get into debt, you do a proper plan. And in case you're not sure about how you can be able to come up with a proper plan, or how you can be able to borrow correctly, make sure to book a consultation. So we can look at your budget and make sure that you can be able to afford on how to pay off these loans. Also, to make sure that you're getting the best deal, and finally, to make sure that you're growing financially and you don't get into a debt trap or in bad debts which are going to strain you. At this particular point, I hope this video was helpful and you have learned 1 or 2, 3 things, and you will be able to use these debt strategies to make sure that you're growing yourself, and also you're growing in your financial freedom journey. If this video was helpful, make sure to subscribe, comment, like, and share, so that other people can also learn into this content. And anytime you also post this content, you'll be notified. And until next time, thank you for watching.